Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. As Sadana Law Associate has started to decipher the judgment of Supreme Court of Pakistan, today's analysis of a judgment number Civil Petition 562K of 2024 addressed a dispute between Musammat Musarrat Shaheen, the petitioner, and the Verbina Khan Afroz, the respondent, concerning the eviction of petitioner from rented premises. Central issue revolved around the legal relationship between the landlord and the tenant, the bona fide need for the property, and the alleged default in the rent payment. Key points of the judgment. Facts of the case. The respondent, Verbina Khan Afroz, filed an application for eviction against the petitioner under Sindh Rented Premises Ordinance 1979, citing personal bona fide need and rent default. The rent controller ruled in favor of the respondent, ordering the petitioner to vacate the premises. The decision was later overturned by the District Judge Malir, which prompted the respondent to file a constitutional petition in the Sindh High Court. The High Court, in its judgment order, reinstated the rent controller's decision, leading the petitioner to seek recourse from Supreme Court. Key legal issues. Landlord-tenant relationship. The petitioner contested the existence of landlord-tenant relationship, arguing that she had purchased the property and was not a tenant. Personal bona fide need. The respondent claimed that she required the premises for personal use, given her age and health condition of her husband and special needs for her children. Rent default. The respondent alleged that petitioner had defaulted on rent payments since October 2019. Supreme Court rule reasoning. Landlord-tenant relationship. The court ruled that landlord-tenant relationship was conclusively established through evidence, including two tenancy agreements. The petitioner's claims of ownership, supported by a civil suit, did not negate the existing tenancy arrangement. According to settled law, a tenant who asserts ownership must vacate the property and pursue legal remedies in the civil court, not use the claim to maintain possession. Personal bona fide needs. The rent controller finding that the respondent required the premises of personal use were upheld. The court emphasized that the respondent need as an elderly woman caring for her husband and two special children was genuine, adequate, supported by the evidence. The petitioner failed to prove that she had paid rent since October 2019. The burden of proving payment of rent falls on the tenant once the landlord raises the issue of default. The petitioner's inability to present such evidence resulted in finding of a willful default. Legal precedents. The court referred to established legal precedent, including the case Rahmatullah vs. Ali Muhammad 1983 SCMR 1064 and Muhammad Nisar vs. Idhar Ahmad Sheikh PLD 2014 Supreme Court 347, to reinforce the principle that tenant who asserts ownership must vacate the premises and cannot maintain possession. While challenging ownership, the court also cited Nasir Khan vs. Nadia Ali Bhatt 2024 SCMR 452, affirming that a tenant claim of being a subsequent purchaser does not entitle them to remain in possession unless validated by court of competent jurisdiction. Conclusion of the judgment. Supreme Court dismissed the petition, affirming the High Court decision. The court found no illegality or infirmity in the High Court's reasoning. While thoroughly addressed both legal and factual matter, the eviction was upheld on the ground of personal bona fide need and the rent default. Impact of judgment. This judgment reinforced several important legal principles. First, tenant obligation. The tenant cannot rely on claim of ownership to remain in possession of a rented property. They are required to vacate the premises and pursue their ownership claim through the appropriate legal channels. Once the landlord raises the issue of rent default, the burden shifts to the tenant to prove that rent has been paid. Failure to provide such evidence can result in eviction. Genuine need of landlord. A landlord bona fide need for property, especially when supported by compelling personal circumstances, will be strongly considered by the court when assessing eviction claims. This decision highlights the judiciary commitment to ensuring the eviction claim based on valid ground such as personal need and rent default are treated with due importance while protecting tenant from arbitrary evictions. Thank you so much.